Good morning, everybody. Today is Monday, September 14th. Our percent positivity at our testing site is at 4.85% today. The county rate is at 5.6%, and our case incidence rate is 14.08. Just a reminder that sometimes the figures I give on this video don't quite match up with the dashboard. Just look at the dashboard for the latest, greatest. The reason that they don't match is that our dashboards are updated throughout the day, and there is a delay from when I tape this until when it gets posted so that we can close caption it for you. Our lab turnaround time and our appointment availability remain very good at our Fisher's testing site. However, we are having a little bit of a glitch in some of the transmission of results, so just know that we are troubleshooting that for those of you that may have been affected. These things are normal. They happen occasionally, and we try to be very alert and very proactive about troubleshooting them so that you can get your results as quickly as possible. Regarding school, so we know that the HSE elementary kids have been back in school for a week, for a half a week each group, and that seems to be going really well. I have excellent reports from all of the school principals that things are going well, and I have heard lots of positive stories from those of you who post on social media about how well your kids are doing with being back in school. From a COVID standpoint, it seems that everybody is maintaining the appropriate safety measures and it's being really safe. We haven't had any transmissions that we know of yet in the school. So continue to keep those kiddos home if they're feeling symptomatic. Please pay attention to the quarantine guidelines and maintain your quarantine if you're asked to do so. And I think that we can continue to make this a safe process for everyone. As we get ready to send our middle school and high schoolers back on Thursday for the HSE school district, I did want to make a couple of additional points. We are still having cases in our middle school and sometimes our middle school and more frequently our high schoolers. So it is really important that we continue to take those guidelines seriously and that we continue to isolate if you're having symptoms, that you get tested if there's any question, and that you really strictly quarantine if you're asked to do so. If you've been in close contact to somebody who's been positive, then you really please quarantine, get yourself tested on the 5th day after your exposure. And quarantine means that you need to stay by yourself in your home setting. So you can be outside, you can be in your bedroom, but you shouldn't be hanging around with the rest of your family members if the rest of your family members are not quarantining. Additionally, if we have 2 kids, let's say, who are quarantining, it's important that they not hang out together. I know it seems like it would make sense that you're both quarantining, you can hang out together, but since the families are not quarantining, if the kids themselves were the only people exposed, if somebody pops positive, then we've exposed a whole nother household full of people. Your quarantine and isolation periods start over. You really can drag this out for a longer period of time. So for your own sanity and for your own safety, please pay close attention to the guidelines that we're given so that we can keep you guys safe and healthy. Again, as we're sending these kids back to school, I just want to remind everybody that this is a congregate setting, so it does carry increased risk. That is why the national debate on this has been so robust, because trying to do this safely is of such critical importance for the community as a whole. So as we get ready to send particularly these middle school and high schoolers back on this hybrid model starting on Thursday, I just want to help you guys think through this. It is carrying an increased risk to our community as well as to your household. So as we think about taking on that increased risk, I would encourage all of you to kind of look at the practices that you put in place lately. I know some people have been kind of loosening up their guidelines and getting out and about a little bit more, maybe venturing out into restaurants and things like that. But if you have someone in the school setting and you're carrying that increased risk starting soon, then I would again encourage you to dial back your risk in other areas in order to support the activities that your student needs to be part of to be in school. So dial back some of the risks that you're carrying elsewhere. So if, for example, you've been dining out at restaurants, consider switching to carry out. If, for example, you've had your kids, hanging out with the neighborhood kids, you might want to dial that back. So just consider those social bubbles that we talked about last week and try to tighten those up and decrease the amount of exposures that you might have outside of the school, because you're going to be increasing the exposures inside the school. That's going to decrease the risk that you're going to be identified as needing quarantine from one of these many opportunities for exposure, and it's going to keep all of us safer and healthier, including you and your family. Thanks so much for listening. Take care.